Every breakup starts with a void. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's massive. But here's the difference between men she moves on from in weeks and men she can't get out of her head for years. It's not about how much you meant to her while you were there. It's about what you leave behind when you're gone. Most guys get replaced easily because their entire identity was wrapped up in the relationship. They lived for her approval. They bent their time, energy, and even their personality to fit her expectations. And when she leaves, all of that disappears with her. She moves on because there's nothing unique to miss. Just a placeholder who can be swapped out for the next one who tries just as hard. But then, there's a different kind of man. The man who leaves an imprint. Not because he tried to be unforgettable, but because his presence, his standards, his energy, and his discipline were so rare that she can't find it anywhere else. The conversations hit different. The way he carried himself stood out. The way he navigated life without losing himself in her world made him impossible to replicate. That's what Dark Stoicism is about. It's not coldness for the sake of being cold. It's building yourself into such a complete, grounded and self-sufficient man that her leaving doesn't weaken you. It actually highlights the fact that your value was never dependent on her staying. Becoming irreplaceable isn't about making her regret it in the short term. It's about making her realize, years later, that every guy after you feels like a copy and you were the original. In this video, I'm going to break down the principles that make you that man. Not through games, not through fake alpha posturing, but through discipline, presence, and the kind of self-mastery most men will never touch. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I am irreplaceable. Now let's begin. Number 1. Build an identity bigger than the relationship. If your identity begins and ends with her, she can replace you in a week. That's the brutal truth. When your entire sense of self-worth comes from being her man, then the day she walks away is the day your value collapses, and that makes you instantly forgettable. The men who are irreplaceable are the ones whose identity is so much bigger than the relationship that even when she's gone, the man remains the same. He's still the leader in his friend group. He's still the one who pushes himself in the gym. He's still the man building something in his career, his craft, or his purpose. In other words, he's not defined by her, he's defined by his mission. This doesn't mean you don't value her. It means your life has a backbone, something that was there before her and will still be there after her. It's what makes her respect you when she's with you and miss you when she's gone. Because here's the thing, anyone can find someone to fill a role, boyfriend, partner, date. But finding someone with a presence, that's rare. And presence comes from living a life that is already rich, meaningful, and self-directed. One where she steps into your world, not the other way around. If she's stepping into something solid, she knows she's part of something bigger. And when she leaves, she realizes she didn't just walk away from a man. She walked away from an entire life she can't recreate with someone else. Number 2. Master the art of emotional control. If you want to be the man she can't replace, you have to understand this. Most men are emotionally predictable. They react when they're provoked. They chase when they feel someone slipping away. They get defensive when challenged. In short, they make it easy for her to see exactly how much power she has. An irreplaceable man flips that script. He doesn't suppress his emotions, he masters them. When he's angry, he doesn't lash out. When he's disappointed, he doesn't sulk or beg for reassurance. When things don't go his way, he doesn't spiral, he adapts. That kind of stability is rare. It's not the fake "I don't care" mask some men wear to look tough. It's a genuine calm that comes from knowing you control your responses, no matter what's thrown at you. And here's the secret. Women remember that. They remember the man who could stay grounded in chaos. They remember the man who didn't lose himself when things got tense. They remember the man who could hear something emotional, intense, or even hurtful, and not let it pull him out of character. Because here's the truth. If she can replace your looks, your money, or your status, she still can't replace your emotional presence. That's the part that's rare. And once a woman has experienced it, every man who comes after you feels a little more fragile, a little more reactive, a little more ordinary. Number 3, make growth your default setting. The men who are easily replaced are the ones who stay the same year after year. They're comfortable, predictable, stagnant. When a woman leaves them, she knows exactly what she's walking away from because nothing about them is going to change. But the man she can't replace. He's always evolving. He's a moving target. Even when she knew him at his best, she knows he's only going to get better. Growth as your default setting means that whether you're in a relationship or single, you're upgrading yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. You're reading, training, learning new skills, building new connections, and expanding your influence. You're not doing it to show her anything. You're doing it because you refuse to plateau. And here's where the Dark Stoicism comes in. When growth is a habit, it doesn't matter who comes or goes. Your life is always in forward motion, and the more you grow, the harder you become to replace. Because now you're not just the man she remembers, you're the man she remembers, who's now on an entirely higher level. That's what burns in her mind. Not just who you were, but the thought of who you're becoming and the fact that she's no longer part of that story. Number 4, build a life she wants to be part of, not the center of. Here's one of the most common mistakes men make. They hand over the keys to their entire life the moment they get into a relationship. Everything starts revolving around her, their time, their energy, their plans, even their dreams. At first, it feels romantic. Over time, it becomes suffocating. Not just for you, but for her too. When you make a woman the center of your life, you unintentionally put pressure on her to be your everything. And here's the truth. No one wants that job. It's exhausting, and eventually she starts looking for space. And for a man who already has his own center. An irreplaceable man builds a life so rich and complete that she's stepping into something, not becoming it. Your work, your passions, your social life, your fitness, your personal projects, all of it creates a world that's already thriving. When she's with you, she's not the sole reason it thrives. She's part of the momentum that was there before she arrived. This does 2 things. It gives her freedom. She doesn't feel the weight of being everything to you. It shows her that your life has value and depth that doesn't depend on her presence. And here's the kicker. When you build that kind of life, she knows deep down that if she leaves, she's stepping out of something rare, something most men don't have. And that's when replacement stops being an option, because she's not just replacing you, she's trying to replace the entire life that came with you. Number 5, keep your mystery alive. One of the fastest ways to become replaceable is to make yourself completely predictable. If she knows exactly what you're going to say, do and feel in every situation, the excitement fades, and so does the uniqueness. Mystery isn't about playing mind games or withholding information just to seem cool. It's about living in a way that always leaves room for curiosity. You have interests she doesn't fully understand. You have projects she doesn't know every detail about. You have sides to you that reveal themselves slowly, over time, instead of all at once. The men she can't replace are the ones she never feels she's fully figured out. Not because they're hiding, but because they're always exploring, always creating, always doing something new that adds another layer to who they are. And here's the Stoic twist. Mystery also comes from restraint. You don't react to everything. You don't broadcast every move. You let your actions reveal themselves naturally. That kind of self-control makes her wonder what's going on in your mind, and that wondering doesn't stop just because she's no longer in your life. When she's with you, she feels like there's always more to discover. When she's gone, she realizes that mystery still lingers, and no one else gives her that same feeling. Number 6. Set standards that never bend. Most men lose their edge because their standards are negotiable. They start out strong, with clear boundaries, non-negotiables, and self-respect. But the moment they're afraid of losing her, those standards start to bend. And once they bend, they break. An irreplaceable man doesn't operate that way. His standards aren't for show. They're a reflection of his identity. They apply whether he's single, dating, married, or heartbroken. They apply whether she's the love of his life or just someone passing through. Here's why this matters. Standards signal value. When a man enforces his boundaries without anger or insecurity, it shows he's not afraid to lose someone who can't meet them. And that makes him rare, because most men will trade away their principles in exchange for short-term validation. Dark Stoicism is knowing that keeping your standards might cost you a person, but lowering them will cost you yourself. You don't compromise on respect. You don't compromise on how you allow yourself to be treated. And you don't compromise on the way you live your life, even if it means walking away. When she knows your standards are non-negotiable, she realizes that being in your life is a privilege, not a right. And the moment she steps away, she understands, consciously or not, that she'll never find that same unshakable backbone in the average man. Number 7. Build unshakable self-sufficiency. Nothing makes a man easier to replace than emotional or financial dependence. If she feels like you need her to function, to be happy, to feel stable, to even pay your bills, she knows she's holding the upper hand. And when she leaves, it's easy for her to justify it, because deep down she thinks you won't survive without her. An irreplaceable man flips that script. He's completely self-sufficient, emotionally, mentally, and financially. He doesn't need someone to make him happy, and he doesn't rely on someone else to carry his weight in life. When a man operates from that kind of independence, relationships become a choice, not a lifeline. This doesn't mean you push people away or refuse help out of pride. It means you've built a foundation so solid that losing someone doesn't cause your life to crumble. You take care of your own needs. You manage your own emotions. You're not waiting for a partner to fix you because you've already done the work yourself. And here's the irony. Women want to feel needed emotionally, but they're deeply attracted to men who could still thrive without them. It's a paradox. The less you need her, the more she values being in your life. When you live with unshakable self-sufficiency, she realizes that being with you was never about filling a gap. It was about sharing a life with someone who already had it all under control. That's not something you can copy, and it's why you can't be replaced. Number 8. Earn respect everywhere you go. A man who is respected only by his partner is fragile, because that respect can disappear the moment the relationship ends. But a man who earns respect in every environment he steps into, that's a man whose value can't be contained or replaced. Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you command through the way you carry yourself. It's in your posture, your words, your consistency, and the way you follow through on what you say. It's in how you treat people, not just the ones who can benefit you, but everyone. It's in your work ethic, your reliability, and the quiet confidence that you are who you say you are. When a woman sees that you're respected by your friends, your peers, your colleagues, even strangers, it changes the way she views you. You're not just valuable to her, you're valuable to the world around you. Here's why that matters. She can try to replace affection. She can try to replace attraction, but she can't easily replace the weight of a man who walks into any room and is treated like someone who matters. That presence takes years to build, and once you have it, it follows you everywhere. When you leave her life, the respect you've earned doesn't vanish, it stays with you. And when she sees that you're still admired, still respected, still recognized as a man of value without her, she knows she didn't just lose a relationship. She lost someone whose worth is publicly undeniable. Number 9. Keep your world larger than hers. The easiest man to replace is the one whose entire world shrinks down to the size of a single person. When you make her the center of your universe, she starts to feel like she's carrying the weight of being everything to you. And that's not attractive, it's suffocating. An irreplaceable man's world is always bigger. He's got his own pursuits, his own network, his own adventures, and his own purpose. She's part of that world, but she's not the entirety of it. This is where Dark Stoicism comes in. You understand that attachment doesn't mean dependence. You can care deeply for someone without making them your only source of joy, validation, or meaning. Your life has multiple pillars: your mission, your craft, your health, your friendships, your experiences. Even if one pillar falls, the structure stands. And here's what happens when you keep your world larger than hers. If she walks away, you're still surrounded by movement, growth, and people who matter. You're still chasing goals, exploring new ideas, and living fully. She's not leaving you to an empty space. She's leaving you in the middle of a life so full that she'll feel its weight the moment she's on the outside looking in. That's what makes you irreplaceable. She knows there's no easy way to step back into a life like yours, because it's not built for dependency. It's built for momentum. Number 10. Never stop being the prize. The moment you stop seeing yourself as the prize, you start acting like you have to win her, instead of realizing she's the one who needs to keep up with you. That's the shift that makes most men replaceable. Being the prize isn't arrogance, it's self-respect in action. It's knowing the value you bring into a relationship, not just in material terms, but in character, in stability, in presence, and in the way you elevate the life of anyone who's close to you. It's refusing to shrink yourself to fit someone else's comfort level. It's holding yourself to the same standards you expect from others. When you live like the prize, your energy changes. You stop chasing and you start attracting. You stop competing for attention, and instead, you make people earn a place in your life. You stop over-explaining your worth because your life already demonstrates it. Here's why she can't replace that. Most men eventually let themselves go, physically, mentally, and emotionally, once they have the girl. But the man who remains the prize, even after the honeymoon phase, never loses his edge. He keeps leveling up, keeps sharpening his skills, keeps deepening his wisdom, and the longer he's gone, the clearer it becomes that she didn't just lose a man, she lost the man. When you live like the prize, you don't just make an impression, you set the standard. And once you've been the standard, everything else feels like settling. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Being unforgettable has nothing to do with making someone regret leaving you. It's about building yourself into a man whose value is so rooted in who he is that no one else can step in and fill that space. When she thinks back, it won't just be about the memories. It'll be about the feeling you carried with you. The calm, the strength, the discipline, the mystery, the standards. She'll remember that your life didn't revolve around her, and that's exactly why she respected you. And she'll realize that every man who came after you felt a little more replaceable, a little more predictable, and a lot less rare. Dark Stoicism isn't about being cold or distant. It's about self-mastery so complete that whether someone stays or goes, you remain the same, steady, grounded, and in motion. That's why she can't replace you. Because what she's searching for now isn't just another man. It's the entire experience of being around you, and she won't find it again. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below saying, "I am irreplaceable." Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and keep becoming the man whose presence is a standard, not an accident. Remember, the world doesn't reward the man who waits to be valued. It rewards the man who values himself first.